We booked this Cornwall trip very last minute for Easter, and it turned out to be one of those trips that looks peaceful on camera, but in reality comes with dramatic views, unpredictable weather, and some of the narrowest roads I've driven on in the UK. This was my second trip to Cornwall, so this time we did it differently. Instead of trying to cover too much, we drove straight to Newlyn, where we found our Airbnb, and used it as a base for exploring West Cornwall over 4 days. I'm ready to show you our small bungalow. It looks actually really nice, especially for UK houses. It's really well done and it's brand new. So here we have a really nice kitchen with some welcome gifts. It's always nice to have it. And then, yeah, nothing special here, but like really cute kitchen on the right side. Then a small, I wouldn't say it's a terrace, but like, yeah, small patio outside. It's actually a nice view here. And then TV area, sofa. And here it's the bedroom. It's really cute actually, and I like that they made this wall with wallpapers. Looks really cool. And then the bathroom. Yeah, it's really cute. We stayed in Newlyn, which I actually really like as a base. It feels less polished and more local, and that worked really well for this kind of trip. You have the harbor, good food nearby, easy access to Penzance, and that slightly quieter atmosphere that makes everything feel more real. One thing that always surprises me in Cornwall is driving. It looks beautiful, but some of the roads are so narrow that even a short drive feels like a small challenge. Speed limit is 60 miles. 60. 60. The road speed limit. Treatment here, Sculpture Gardens, was one of my favorite surprises of the trip. It has this mix of tropical looking plants, modern art, and incredible views that somehow makes everything feel calm and dramatic at the same time. And yeah, it's really difficult to pronounce the name, especially if you're not a native speaker. We have just finished our walk around the sculpture park, and honestly this is something outstanding. They have so many cool exotic plants and then all the sculptures, and I would say like the best installation, it was done by James Turella just in the beginning, so make sure that you're not missing that, because basically it's like an old Victorian water tank and you're going inside and it's completely dark, and then actually the main idea that they're showing you like the transformation in terms of like how long it takes for your eye to get used to being completely dark environment. And yeah, in the beginning it was super spooky, because basically you can definitely experience what does it mean to be blind, and then at some point, like maybe after like 30 seconds, for some people it can take like a few minutes, you start to see the installation itself. But I'm not going to reveal the moment, so you'll definitely discover it by yourselves. Then we went to St. Ives, which is one of those places that people seem to either pronounce very confidently or completely differently every time. So we arrived to St. Ives, and at the beginning we've been arguing a lot how to pronounce it correctly, because I thought that it's related to like kind of like French impact and that it should be pronounced like Saint Eve. And he said, no, it has to be pronounced like Saint Eves. And none of us was right, because actually it is pronounced as Saint Ives. But at least, yeah, now we know. It was extremely beautiful and extremely windy at the same time. So if I look slightly confused in some of these clips, this is probably why. St. Michael's Mount is probably one of the most iconic places in this part of Cornwall, and it really does look impressive in person. It has that almost unreal quality, especially when the weather keeps changing every few minutes. What I like about is that it's not just scenic, it also feels theatrical. It is the kind of place where even if you know nothing about the history, you still feel like it must have seen a lot. So just make sure that you book your ticket in advance because the demand is high and the lines can be massive as well. And there is no need to come earlier than 11 a.m. And this is the reason why. So the biggest issue that in order to go to the castle, you have to cross the ocean, and you can still see that the water didn't go down. So that's why basically people are waiting to cross, and either you have to take off your shoes, but it's still very cold and windy, or you have to wait when the water is going down. So yeah, not easy to get there. A lot of people go straight to Land's End, but instead we stopped at Sinan Cove, which is very close and honestly felt like a better choice for us. You still get those dramatic Atlantic views, you can walk, sit by the sea, and enjoy the coastline without making the whole experience feel too staged. This is probably one of my biggest Cornwall recommendations in general. Do not focus only in the headline spots. Some of the best moments are just outside them. What I like most about this trip is that Cornwall didn't feel like a place where you need a huge itinerary. In fact, I think it works better when you avoid bigger towns, stay flexible, and spend more time in smaller villages, on coastal walks, or just sitting somewhere with a view. It is a region that really depends on mood, weather, and how much you let yourself slow down. And for me, that is probably why it reminded me of Portugal old times, the ocean, the light, the villages, and that feeling that the landscape is doing most of the work. Thanks for watching and let me know which place in Cornwall I should visit next time.